But it's not made in China. It's made in Taiwan.
Made in Taiwan, yes. Made in Taiwan. But, you know, there's a lot of people that also get confused, Taiwan, China. And
well, let's talk about that just for a little history. So basically, when Mao Zedong did his revolution, the existing government fled to a little island called Taiwan, right?
Yeah, I am not the expert on Chinese history, but yes.
So they were all. It'd be like if Trump took office and all the Democrats fled to Cuba.
Yeah.
And there was basically no one living on Cuba. When the mainland Chinese government fled to Taiwan, was it uninhabited?
No, there's Taiwanese Indians that they call just like in the U.S.
So they had indigenous people.
Yes,
people got there first.
Definitely, they're. And China, but you know, China still claims Taiwan as theirs, right? So there's, you know, China does not recognize.
But it's just chest beating.
Yeah. You remember how much flack Trump got because he accepted the phone call from the Taiwanese president, and we have never had a sitting president accept a congratulatory phone call from Taiwan because that is just going to piss off China, and Trump did it. And that pissed off China.
Yeah. But I can tell you my funniest political story in China. Okay, if you lined up 10 dentists in a row, the first 10 dentists you found, and said, name 5 Chinese dynasties or presidents or leaders or prime ministers, whatever you want to call them, how many of them could even name one? How many of them could even name the president of China right now?
You're talking about right now if you go to China?
I mean, China's got a 5,000 year history. Or just name the 3 largest dynasties, right?
Yeah.
So I was in China. I was having breakfast with the president of the Chinese Dental Association and some other dentists, and we're always having fun. And I just love China. I just love everything about it. And he asked me. I asked them, you know, who was their favorite U.S. president. Mm-hmm. These really smart dentists. Nobody could name one. So that became my new hobby, asking every Chinese dentist, can you name an American president? And I said, no, because when I'm over here and I go up to any dentist, they will name a Chinese leader. I mean, you got 5,000 years to pick from.
Yeah.
So it's so funny how when you're in the dental community, there's no politics.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody over here knows their leaders, the dentists over there, and but what I love the most about China is, my God, they got a work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like all they know is work. They'll outwork you. I mean, the 40-hour work week in America, Monday through Friday. The Chinese, I mean, they wouldn't consider that.
It's all perspective, right? I mean, I love this country. I mean, the opportunities. I could have never be here if I was in Korea. You know, then that's why my parents obviously. I'm the classic immigrant story. You know, they came to the U.S. Looking for opportunities. And so, yes, the work ethic is amazing there. And partly we look at U.S. and we just got to tap ourselves and go, we're so fortunate.
Yeah, but the classic immigrant, that is the single greatest paradox in American history. Because if you say to any American, well, what made America great? Well, people from all over the world, from every country on earth, they all came here. The Italians brought pizza, and the Irish, and everybody came here and made. And so Ellis Island. Mm-hmm. Everybody came through Ellis Island. Open it. So then so let's open back up Ellis Island and let everybody come in and give them citizens. Oh no! You don't understand. It was good for my grandma and my great grandma and my great great grandma, but nobody else. Yeah. And then you look at all these rural towns in America, and they say, well, you know, they closed down the factory. Would you stop with that story? Who started that factory? What's the big yogurt story? The guy that went and bought the bankrupt yogurt company. Yeah. He was from Pakistan?
Yeah, I remember hearing that. So is it Oiko? Is it one of the
Greek one?
Yeah, the Greek one. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he from? We'll find out where he was from, Ryan. I think he was from Pakistan, wasn't he? So when I was little, we'd go on these camp out vacations. You know, you get the camper, the tent. You know, you go to all these lakes. And each city we would stop and you go to and we're talking towns of like 1,000. And they say, oh yeah, this group came from this country, and they were all fleeing the Catholic Church. You know, they brought this religion, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Mennonite, Mormon, whatever the heck it was. And so all these small town, deals that are closing down, they were all started by an immigrant. And if you opened up immigration and let whenever you vote on your feet and move to a different country, you are a class above the rest. You're ambitious.
It was a Turkey, an immigrant from Turkey, and it was, he bought Greek yogurt.
Yeah, what was his name?
Chobani is the name.
Yeah, Chobani. He's from Turkey.
Yeah, he's from Turkey.
And so the bottom line is,
Hamid Ulikaya.
so you look at a guy like you. So you started A Sero Crowns. Well, you're an immigrant. Well, you know, when you go to Mexico, the 10 million Mexicans that left Mexico that came here, they are far more ambitious than the 50 million less motivated people out of their country of 100 million people. So the cream of the crop. And did you know, here's what's even more bizarre. We're approaching 8 billion people. Only 1% of the planet is like you, who's living in a country he wasn't born in. 99%.
That would have shocked me.
Yeah, 1%.
Wow.
So, and look what this 1% kid did. Built 36 offices. Then he did it again, got 6. Then he started Acero Crowns. And then look at your kid. He's sitting on an Xbox eating Doritos. Yeah, that kid is never going to have 36 offices because he was born too comfortable. And your journey, you lost your dad early. Mm-hmm. You immigrated to another country. You had all these challenges, and it made. Are you King Kong or Godzilla? Your wife has the same story.
Same story. Exact same story. And this is, my wife and I have this conversation every night because what our secret sauce or what gave us the superpowers to become successful was what we didn't have, right?
Yeah.
What we didn't have, what our parents couldn't provide us, which fueled our drive, our passion. And how do we teach that to our kids?
It's easy. You just move them back to the poorest country. You find the poorest orphanage in Asia, and you send them there tomorrow.
Because that's the thing, because our daughters are not growing up how we grew up. And how we grew up is what got us to be successful. I know. And it scares the Jesus out of my wife and I every day.
Well, you'd know your 2 daughters, by the time they're 21, their names are going to be Princess 1 and Princess 2. But what's so sad is I don't get into politics because people don't have open minds about religion and politics after the age of about 21. And there's no way, like my mom, my 2 older sisters went straight into the nunnery after high school. Mm-hmm. My oldest sister's been a nun for 35 years. You think I could have a conversation with her and make her Lutheran, Jewish, Hindu, or agnostic? You can't. But it's so sad to see this country stumbling because we've only had about a 2% growth rate for 2 decades. But if you opened up Ellis Island, we'd be back to a double-digit growth rate. We'd be back to 10%.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. Here is where I feel like the U.S. just kicks everybody's butt, especially the Asian countries. I dare to say that the kid who graduates in the 75% of his class, like he's not in the top percent. He is probably number 75 in his graduating class out of 100. Okay, he's in the 75 percentile. That kid can come to the U.S. and be valedictorian at a lot of schools. Because in Asia, and I'm not saying this is great, Asia, education is so intensive. I mean, these kids are under so much, because when I go back to Korea and when Rita goes back to Taiwan, we'll see our back then it was our cousins, now it's our nieces and nephews. How much stress. They're going to school 12, 14 hours a day, and they're only in junior high.
Yeah.
It is life or death for them to go to a good college. And so here's the sad part, and it's the same in Japan. These kids are so smart as far as taking tests, and they're just so smart. They get to college, it is party city, it's a joke. That's where the U.S. colleges just kick butt. And so you look back, you go, these Asians, and I'm sure it may be this way for other countries, but these Asians are so smart. Well, how come every single time someone wins the Nobel Peace Prize or someone comes up with, why aren't there these Asians that are, it's because these great smart minds, unless they're super uber rich where their parents can send them to go to, college here in the U.S., they're going to get into a college in Korea and just party. And then they're going to have to do their army. They still have the draft. So where the U.S. the schools here, I mean, we're pumping that. Even though we may have a lot of if we say millennials or just anybody that are entitled, they don't have the passion, they're lazy, and all this stuff. Still, there is that bit that will, go to college and they will go to graduate school and they become the Jobs, they become the Bill Gates, and they whereas that doesn't happen in Korean colleges. And so that's where I feel like the U.S. just, when people say that, I say, yeah, we can say all we want. Asian schools, Asian kids are smart. That a kindergartner's learning multiplication or whatever. They're learning algebra in 4th grade. But at the end of the day, when you see where they are at age 18 or 21, I mean, hands down, the U.S. colleges.
Well, the greatest powers, it's moved all around. It used to be Genghis Khan. I mean, he had an area the size of North America. There used to be a thing called the Roman Empire. If you read back far enough, there's all these empires, and they all come and gone. And I'll tell you what, the only secret sauce of this almost 300-year-old empire was Ellis Island. And the day you close that down and start screwing with it, your rapid growth has been. I mean, you've grown your productivity 2% for the last generation. So, and now you want to build a wall. And I don't really even care, because I don't really care that it went from Genghis Khan to the Roman Empire, then it went to Portugal, then it went to Spain, then it went to the United Kingdom, and then it went to here, and it's already China. I've been there. They've already passed your GDP on, if you measure by purchasing power parity, not by the US dollar, but by PPP, it says number one. And they're, so open up Ellis Island, or you're just the next. You're just talk to Genghis Khan. How long did the Mongolian Empire last after Genghis Khan died?
Oh, I'm not a history major.
Yeah, like about 8 seconds. The Roman Empire lasted 600 years. That's about probably how long the American Empire was.
Who's that author? He came up with a book. He's like, exactly. He's using that historical data. He's like, the U.S. He's like, I'm not bashing the U.S. He goes, it's just there is going to be an end.
Yeah,
He just says historically, it's just a matter of fact, it's U.S. is
because they all get lazy and entitled and want benefits and don't want to pay
Yeah.
taxes and want everything for free.
Yeah.
And what's your counterbalance to that? An endless wave of immigrants who will work harder, cheaper, faster, and it's like selecting the Super Bowl team. You got to, if you want to win a Super Bowl on the NFL, you got to get the best 50 players.
Yeah.
Well, you know who the best 50 players are? The people who will move all the way from Africa, Asia, and Europe to come here. Not your kid over there eating Doritos, playing Nintendo, who thinks everything should be free. Do you see that Bernie Sanders movement? Oh yeah, free college, free healthcare, free everything.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye. I mean, so enough of that. But so what is the how's Acero? First of all, where did you get the name Acero? Is that because?
First of all, Ryan, there is no way I could have prepared for this.
Yeah, right.
There's no way.
I told you, right?
That's why we call it Dentistry Uncensored. It's no holds barred.
Everyone's always asking, how can I prepare for this? I'm like, just don't bother.
Yeah.
But you know why people like Dentistry Uncensored is because they would rather know what I honestly feel and not agree at all than the government, which has 11% approval rating, because they're all in a suit and tie being proper, but they're lying and they're not telling the truth.
Yeah.
I'd rather anybody tell me what they believe and I disagree 100%. Like my 5 sisters. My God, I don't agree with anything they say.
Yeah.
But I love them, and they're honest, and we have an honest, open conversation and hug and eat dinner, and we're best buddies, and we text and call every day.
Yeah.
What's the trade-off? Someone lying to you?
Yeah.
I don't want you to lie to me. And then when you're trying to figure out what I want to hear, so now you're lying to me, trying to game me. They'd rather say, I love when an email says, some guy said the other day about my dental therapist, he goes, love your show, listen to it every day on the way to work. Disagree 100% on everything you said on dental therapist. Still love you. You know what I mean? It's like great. And that dentist who says he doesn't disagree with me on something. Well, he doesn't disagree with something with his own mom, his own wife, his own spouse. Just honest people. But where did the name Acero come from?
I'll tell you the second hardest thing that we had a challenge with is come up with a name. We came up with a lot of names. They're all taken. If you try to trademark. We came up with crazy names like Titan, Triton, just stupid names that the two dentists are coming up with. And then we started going into other languages because every single word we came up with was like already trademarked. You can't use it. So we said, okay, we got to go to another language. So
another language.
Yeah, and it was actually Todd's. I would give this credit. I think it was Todd's wife at that time. She said,
Todd's wife at that time.
At that time.
Meaning he's on to big, different wives.
And so we said, I don't know how, but I think it was a collaboration because it was my wife, it was Rita, myself, Todd, and his wife. And we were just brainstorming. And I think somehow we said, well, what's steel in Spanish? And it was Acero. And we all went, ooh, that rolls off the tongue pretty good. Acero, Acero. And we just sat there and we were like, oh, hell, it's Acero. So that's how we came up with the name. We went through so many different things, and it was just, bottom line, it was A Sero.
I thought it was you were watching Ace Ventura, and you just extended Ace out. But A Sero means steel.
It means steel in Spanish.
That is so damn cool.
And it rolled off the tongue very well, and it's A, so A is a good word, for alphabetical order and listings, and so.
So you had the idea 2007, you made your first crown in 2008, and now it's a decade later, it's 2018. How's Acero Crowns doing?
So I was the naive, dumb dentist that thought, hey, if you come up with a great product and provide a great value, people are going to buy it. Well, Howard, I was very naive. 3M is not going to let you enter their market that easily. And so I guess this is uncensored. If I'm going to just let it out.
Let it out, baby.
I had doors shut on me. Every dealer, they were interested in the door shut on me. Great product, yeah. We have dentists all the time trying to, ask, is there a private label brand of crowns that we can possibly buy? Because these 3M crowns are getting expensive. And I talked to all the dealers, really, all the big boys. Oh, we've been looking for that, and then
you didn't talk to my dealer.
Then the phone goes silent. And through the years, I have found out that, yeah, there were some forces at work there.
You should have called my dealer.
What's your dealer?
Well, he only sells drugs, but maybe this would have been his first dental knowledge.
And so I had to resort to, well, Howard, I heard a story about you. How did you market your practice when you first opened your practice?
How did I first market? I went door to door.
Exactly. I went phone call to phone call. Just random cold calling.
To dentists?
To dentists.
Now, did you focus on pediatric dentists since they were the highest volume?
No. I focused on pediatric dentists, yes, but I also focused on Medicaid providers.
So this is the same thing that's going on Amazon right now. When you talk to these people, they're off the record, they're saying this is crazy. If I sold my stuff through Amazon, who's had a booth at the Greater New York meeting the last 2 years in a row, I know my dealers will blackball me. Mm-hmm. But those same dealers are selling their generics on Amazon. So you go to Amazon, the dealers are selling their stuff, but all their customers. So it's kind of like, so here's what I'm predicting on the Amazon deal. It's going to be like a dam collapsing. So someone big, I mean, they got to be $1 billion, they got to be 3M, they got to be Ivoclar, they got to be Dentsply Sirona, a really big boy or a really big girl. Once one goes,
sure,
everyone else will be there the next morning at 8 o'clock.
So we've been following Amazon very closely. And they're making a play in the dental. And if you saw the latest email that ADA sent out, ADA is promoting Amazon. Buy your dental supplies at Amazon. I have it on my phone.
Send me the email.
And but if you actually go on it, and it's got 3M, it's got Dentsply, it's got the name. But when you go on it, the only products available are basically the home care, like toothbrush, mouth rinse.
Okay, so you're saying B2C, business to consumer, not B2B, dental manufacturer to dentist. So you're saying that on Amazon right now?
But they're trying to get it to the dentist. They're
trying to go B2B.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Amazon has got I've been involved in some of the, not me directly, but I've been talking to the people that have been in direct discussions with Amazon. They've got a game plan to penetrate the healthcare market to sell to physicians, to dentists directly.
Sure, it's 17% of the economy.
Yeah.
They're not going to not pay attention.
And they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time.
Well, look at when Tesla tried to sell cars mail order. The 50 states, the dealers have passed all these laws that you can only sell a car through a dealer.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, so get rid of that law. But why can't they get rid of the law?
Interesting
because
enough,
the dealers give all the people.
This morning, Gordon Christensen's lecture, he spoke about it. He actually told everybody, support your dealers, don't buy Amazon. Amazon cannot help you with, they just sell a product. You go to your dealer, they'll be able to give you some information like, oh, we have this other product that could be this, or that cement doesn't go together. So it was a small little soundbite, but he said, your dealers, buy your supplies from your dealers.
So 83-year-old Yoda, Gordon, still, I mean, that's his culture. It's the good old boy club. He's 83. That's all he ever knew. And now the millennials are sitting there on Amazon Prime. And Amazon has half the voice search. So where's my Amazon Prime? See, my problem is I just can't flip and see. Where?
ADA Vendor Showcase. Buy your dental
Can you forward that email to me?
Yep.
I am howard@dentaltown.com. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they will deregulate industries, to see if I can buy a Tesla through mail order. It'll be interesting, won't it? So are you selling your crowns on Amazon right now?
I have been thinking long and hard on this because at the same time I now have dealers. I don't have the big boys. But I've got dealers that I love.
Did you have Shine?
No.
And why would Henry Shine with a quarter of the market not want to carry
Howard?
They move $1 billion of 3M stuff a year.
Absolutely.
And then what? Number 2, Patterson. What about them?
Yeah.
Are they?
I've been in talks with them.
But are they carrying it today?
Nope.
What about number 3, Benco?
I know Chuck. He was one year below me in Harvard.
Yeah. And the only dentist I know, I only know 2 people in dentistry who have been published in the Harvard Business Review, and Chuck was one of them.
Yeah, Chuck was in the...
And his brother Rick.
Yeah.
And his dad Lawrence.
And I've talked to Chuck and I've talked to Rick. And I've got to watch what I say. I'm just saying that 3M has a very big footprint.
But did he? But at least he probably honestly told you what the deal was.
I knew before talking to him.
But I mean, he was a year behind you in school, so he'd tell you over a beer the truth.
I think Chuck's very politically correct. Yeah.
So Benco is his grandfather Benjamin, and Benjamin. I don't know. Is it Benjamin Company or Benjamin Cohen? I think it's Benjamin Cohen, Benco. And then his son, second generation, Lawrence, who was a huge role model of mine for the last 30 years. And now Chuck and Rick are third generation, and I love these romantic businesses. And the fourth one would be Burkhardt, and they're on 4th generation. That girl, CEO, she's the great-granddaughter of talk about an American story. It's a century-old company. Yeah. And I always tell her that, I mean, now half the dental school class is women, and you're the only woman CEO that sells supplies. Work that card. And she's like,
our products are on all 4 of their hands. And our
they're not, but is Burkhardt carrying it?
They're in discussion, but the discussion just goes cold.
And you've had a product for 10 years.
Yes.
Okay, so then what dealers are doing it?
So the dealers that have I would say the gonads to go up against.
The Stones.
Yes. Midwest Dental. Love them.
Where are they out of?
Wichita Falls, Texas. So they have big presence in Texas and Oklahoma.
Well, tell him to come on the show because I'm born in Wichita.
Oh my God!
And he might not know there's another Wichita.
Tim Cluley, the COO, is the greatest guy oh my God!
Ryan, can you send? What's his name?
Tim Cluley, Cluely.
There he is.
So Midwest was the first.
Handsome devil.
I got to tell you this story, Howard.
So now, is that dealer? Is he just in Texas or
no? Texas, Oklahoma. They're a good sized dealer. I mean,
Texas, Oklahoma. Okay, so what other dealers?
Atlanta Dental.
Atlanta Dental
in Georgia. Practicon. It's been fantastic.
Who's the CEO of Atlanta Dental?
I don't know the CEO.
And then the next one is what?
Practicon.
Practicon.
You know Practicon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
Who's the CEO of Practicon?
I don't know. It's a pediatric dentist that started the company or was one of the founders. But now it's run by, I believe it's run by his hygienist, who, I mean, this is years ago. But I think she's the CEO. I can't remember her name though. And
they're out of Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah, we've got Dental City out of Wisconsin, Indico, also Wisconsin. God, I hope I don't forget a dealer that's been a.
So what is your marketing? How are you getting the word out?
So like you, door to door, going to these dealers, you know, and they all love my product, but then somehow, somewhere, it comes to a grinding halt. But I was introduced to this dealer. A good friend of mine is Brad Heckerman, who was the CEO of American Eagle Dental Instruments. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, up in Montana.
Yeah, never sharpen, never dull. So Brad, his sales director for North America.
Who's the owner of that? It's the woman.
No,
American Eagle.
American Eagle Instruments, the hand instruments for hygienists.
Right, but there was another one. There's another one up there. There's two up in the same city. It's one of those deals where.
But Brad was the CEO, and he introduced me to his North America sales director, Lewis Myers, who you know, obviously Lewis.
Yeah.
Who introduced me to you. Lewis has introduced me to his network of dealers, and actually I owe it to Lewis for introducing me to Midwest Dental, Atlanta Dental, Practicon.
Now he lives in Dallas now, right?
Yeah.
He is one of the most well-connected, hardworking, ambitious guy. My God, he's a very cool. Shout out to Louie.
And it was Lewis that said, Chad, okay, I got to get you on Howard. And I told him I was working on this video. He goes, okay, you got to make the video first because Howard's going to dig your video. And so he kept postponing it. And then finally I said, Lewis, I finally finished my video. He goes, okay, I'm going to get you on. Show Howard the video. Now, the video, you would have loved my unedited video. It just made fun of, I mean, come on, we all have to have a sense of humor, right? You got to make fun of yourself. We made fun of us as a dentist, treating a kid, helicopter mom that's hovering over you. Is it hurting? Is it hurting? Oh, is this bad dentist hurting you? Or the archaic 3M numbering system. If you practice pediatric dentistry, it's all happened to us at one point. The tray flips off. If you know a pediatric,
sure.
There's 100 crowns on there. There's like 200 crowns on there. It comes off that you've got
a mess.
And so we filmed it, making fun of all that stuff. And then
is the video done?
It's done, but then I had some of my marketing people and some pediatric dentists, and all of a sudden it's like someone's going to get offended with that. So I had to edit out a lot of the stuff.
Don't.
So we poke fun of millennials, not in a mean way, but then I showed it to a millennial. That's going to offend millennials. So we toned it down. I think it's still funny, but at some point, way later on, I will show the raw, unedited version. That's pretty funny.
Well, give me the raw, unedited version. we could put it at the end of this podcast.
The edited one is the one I sent you this morning. That's the one that.
That's the edited one. But the thing is with comedy, it's all context. Like you'll go to a dental seminar, and I'll give my lecture, and always someone finds it offensive. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go to a comedy club that night after the lecture where I'm in that town, and they'll say, well, that's the cleanest act. You didn't say the F word, you didn't, no nudity, no violence. Yeah. I mean, you go to a comedy club, it's just F, everything sex. And then you go to an R-rated movie, and you got topless people dropping the F-bomb. Then you go to a dental convention and say, why do Mexicans take Xanax? For their Hispanic attacks. Get it? It's a pun on panic attacks. And my sister's Hispanic. They're so. And the thing that really is even funnier is comedy never works in the country you weren't born in.
Yeah.
Because it's so culturally overtone that jokes don't work. When I lecture outside of the United States and Canada, Canada's just a 51st state. When you lecture outside of the United States and Canada, there's no jokes. It's just purely information because no joke will work.
Yeah.
Because they're so loaded with so much emotion and craziness and they I'll give you one more example of Asia to the United States. In America, Saudi Arabia, Israel. You show a movie like Rambo where it's a man-made AK-47, you kill 100 people, it's a family film. They take their whole family to it. But if the mom, who's a mammal, who gives birth to live young, shows a mammary gland, oh my God, it's rated RX, and they all run out of the theater. Asia, it's reverse. They actually think it's like kind of vulgar to see all these machine gun things. They're like, and that's what scares people, because I've had lunch and dinner and breakfast in 50 countries with dentists, and they say things like that America kind of scares them because they're afraid of nudity.
Yeah.
When every animal at the zoo's nude, but they just love to see a film with 100 people shot down with a machine gun.
Yeah.
And I've so many dinners say it's that you guys have a very violent culture, and I'm like, you think? Texas has more guns than people. Does Australia have more guns than people? Does New Zealand have? No, I mean, it's a very violent culture.
Yeah.
But they're afraid of mammary glands. It's like, how can you be? You think you're so macho and you're afraid of a mammary gland.
That's where we live, Howard.
Have I crossed too many lines even? am I making my own guests uncomfortable? But yeah, culture is bizarre. And you might as well not talk about it because once they're 21, their brain is steel trapped shut. They're not open to, I mean, all that stuff like that. So what is a 3M stainless steel crown costing today, and what is an Acero stainless steel crown costing? And then do the same thing if it's laminated for aesthetic, tooth colored.
So I have, I'm the only, I can say this, I'm the only manufacturer that makes stainless steel molar metal crowns and aesthetic veneered stainless steel crown.
And what's the aesthetic veneer? Is it a composite or resin?
Yeah, it's a stainless steel with a resin composite veneer.
Right.
So which was another subject where, and that came up about, I finally got that project off the ground about 4 years ago. It was the same concept. As a pediatric, as a Medicaid provider, there was a social stigma against having your kids have stainless steel in the front teeth because they were back years ago. That's all there was, so nobody cared. You know, you get kids, you put stainless steel in the front teeth, nobody cared. But now you have moms going, "You're not going to put silver in my kid," you know. And so what's the option? Well, there was those aesthetic, there's Kinder crowns, Easy Pedo, New Smiles and all. Well, they were like $22 for one crown. You can't do that with Medicaid reimbursement. You're getting paid $68 and you're going to pay $22 for a crown? That leaves you $40, $46. It doesn't make sense. So with that same drive that I pushed for stainless steel crowns, I said, we've got to be able to make these crowns and be able to provide it to dentists at a lower cost so that even Medicaid children can get aesthetic white crowns. So same thing. They go, what drove you to do this? Well, I wanted to provide Medicaid dentists the ability to do aesthetic crowns because they're not going to do white crowns because they can't afford it. So we came up with that. So the current market, you've got the metal crowns, which 3M dominates, and then there's also Hugh Freedy. Hugh Freedy came into the picture. So you got Hugh Freedy and 3M. And then on the aesthetic side, you got a bunch of independent family-owned companies that sell direct to dentists.
And those are New Crown,
those are like New Smiles, New Smiles and Kinder Crowns and Easy Pedo, Ching for them. So I've got I wouldn't say a battle, but I've got two 800-pound gorillas on this side, and then I've got a whole nother group of competitors here because they don't really cross each other. These guys don't make metal crowns, and 3M and Hugh Freedy don't make aesthetic crowns, but I make both. So
what's the price difference between metal and tooth color?
So if you go by Henry Schein or Pearson, Darby, I think the retail price for 3M crowns is $42
for
$42.95 for a box of 5.
42. So 43 for 5. So how much is that? What's 43 divided by 5?
That's like $8.25 or.
And what is yours?
$18.
No, per crown.
18. Well, 360. 18 divided by 5 is that 360?
$3.60.
Yeah, I think it's
so. Theirs is $8. Yours is $3.50. And then do the same thing for aesthetic crowns.
The aesthetic crowns, when I sell to the dealers, now dealers offer discounts, and I can't tell the dealer.
But you sell direct.
No, I sold direct through one exclusive marketer. So in a way, it's a little bit confusing. For me to break in, I had to sell direct. So we were selling. But as Lewis introduced me to dealers, I only sell through dealers now. So Midwest, Atlanta, Practicon.
But do you think that's a good idea, though?
I can always sell direct. There's nothing that forbids me from selling direct.
Because you know, because there's two strategies. What percent of supplies do you think move direct in the United States versus through dealer?
What percentage?
Yeah, what percent of supplies go direct?
Man, well, Amazon and all these, but I mean, initially, without having all, I would easily say less than 10%. That's
direct. It's about 20.
Is it about?
It's 80,
I mean,
20.
other than Ultradent, who else sells direct?
Ultradent, Denmat,
Okay.
Centrix.
Small players.
Right.
Yeah.
80% go through a middleman. And 20% go direct, but God, I mean, Ultradent. I mean, that guy's got 1,000 employees doing $100 million a year.
No,
so does Denmat. So does Centrix. I mean, these are. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I don't. But there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
But they're all small, but they add up.
Sure.
And what the dealers have done, which is very smart, because my dealer does it. Well, if you want to buy, she tells my assistant, well, if you want to buy direct, that's totally great and cool, but you can still just give me the order and I'll purchase it, I'll do it for you, because they want the data.
Yeah.
So your Shines and Pattersons and Burkharts and Bencos are saying, oh, I'll make it easy, I'll buy from Ultradent and Centrix and all these companies. And then headquarters looking at that stuff. Okay, this is what they're buying. What do we need to focus on?
I mean, that's a question I live every day.
Gloves is another huge direct. It's a big cost.
Well, that's what everybody's watching, right? Is at the end of the day, I mean, there's a bit of frustration, right? As a manufacturer, you're marketing your product and then just handing over the sale to the distributors.
Yeah.
Right. But really, but a distributor like Midwest and Practicon and I like them because they do help market my product as well. But then there's other ones, the big behemoths that say, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to take my cut, right?
But so you're a guy like me and you sell ads in a magazine, because what we do is, I have a media company. I have a Dental Town magazine that goes to 125,000 dentists every month. The best advertisers are the ones that sell direct, like labs and direct, because if 3M has an ad, they don't, like 3M will say, okay, we sold $1 billion last year.
Yeah.
But they don't know which dentist bought what.
Yeah.
But when people who sell direct buy an ad, they know. Use a special number.
Sure, absolutely.
So then they'll place, they might place an ad in 4 different magazines, 4 different numbers. I was having lunch with one of my attorney friends about 6 months ago, and he's so busy, and I always laugh at him because he's got the back of the phone book, the billboards, the TV, everything has the same phone number.
Yeah.
Because he's got the saying. I said, well, how do you know if they're calling from the billboard, the TV, the phone book? He goes, I don't know. So that's the biggest joke in advertising, that 50% of the advertising is amazing and 50% of it is useless, but no one knows which 50% does what. So,
but that's the big debate.
So then, and here's another thing I want to do from philosophy. It's not right or wrong to sell direct or through a dealer. Get right and wrong out of your head. It's everything has a trade-off. So, try to look at things from an economist, a mathematician. You're a dentist. You should be a scientist. So it's not right or wrong. It's what's the trade-off? What's the pros and cons?
So when I ran South Texas, one of the reasons why we did buy from Shine is because you don't want to have 3 million, invoices, right? I want to buy everything in one shop. When you get to 37, 40 offices, you want to have one go-to shop. You don't want to go buy bananas at this place, milk at this place, and you want to go to the grocery store and just buy your groceries. So that has a little bit to do with it. But at the same time, it's as a manufacturer, you do get frustrated because you're just you've got to market your own product because Shine's not.
Have you talked to Stan Bergman?
I have been in meetings with him, not directly. I'm not big enough to get his attention.
Oh, you are too. Stan makes a religion out of availability. I've noticed that all the successful people make a religion out of availability.
I tell you, Brad told me a story when he went up to was it Melville, New York? And he says I was meeting with somebody. He says Stan came in and Stan said, "Hey, Brad." Or he was meeting with Stan or something like that. And Brad told me, "Chad, don't ever forget this. Stan told me that basically the bottom line was I'm not going to do anything. I just want my 40%. Which is harsh, but that's basically, They're not there to promote your product. They're there to...
Right. They're publicly traded.
They want their 40%.
So here's what I would do. I would, you came on the show. How do my homies try you got a sample size, a sample box? What is the, your website is acerocrowns.com.
Yeah. If they...
Acero is A-C-E-R-O, crowns. Acero, which is Spanish for steel. So if they go to Acero Crowns, you have like a starter pack, or what do they...
It's information, and they can go to any of the dealers that are listed on there. But if they just email me, support, I read every single one.
You can't call them dealers, you got to call them distributors. Because every time you say dealers, the millennials are thinking, you mean the lady that sells me weed? And they're all confused.
But if they send email, request, whatever, I read, believe it or not, Howard, I read every single one of the emails.
And what is your email?
Well, on there, well, my personal email is going to be chad.park@acerocrowns.com.
Okay.
But they can, if they...
Chad.park. And the another friend of mine who's you're a dentist in Park is the owner of Megagen.
Yeah.
Dr. Park, who's been on the show.
And I'm going to just say, please don't ask me, hey, do you know him? Do you know how many parks are in Korea?
but do you realize that he might be able to sell these in Korea?
Absolutely. I have a dealer in Korea. The only thing is Hugh Freedy, their crowns are from Korea.
They're made in Korea?
Mm-hmm. And they're sold in Korea. The Korean company, basically private label for Hugh Freedy.
So Hugh Freedy's crowns are made in Korea.
Yeah.
So that's a big advantage?
I don't know. I mean,
By the way, one thing you and your wife might want to do is guess what my project was for Dentaltown this year? So the Dentaltown website, we spent an entire year formulating it, so now we can take that. I mean, we've been programming it for 20 years. It's 500,000 lines of code. It's an amazing computerized message board format system, which I think is what you have to have if you're going to Facebook, Twitter, email groups, LinkedIn, Instagram, with this endless unorganized news feed is great for entertainment, but it's not to teach you how to do a root canal.
Yeah.
But now we can, starting January 1, we can cut and paste the entire Dentaltown community. So you could start a Korean town, and your wife could start Taiwanese town.
Taiwanese town.
And you could, we could.
Well, you know, my wife actually founded Dallas Asian Dental Association, and it's a group in Texas, in Dallas. And every year, she was the founder, first president. Then I was probably the 5th president, I believe. And each president, you know, adds something to the organization. And when I said, we're going to make ours, I want to get Dad to become a 501c3. And we got that. So we have a Dallas Asian Dental Association. It's camaraderie, mutual learning, giving back to the community. I don't know. Does that have something that can that partner up with Dentaltown, Koreatown?
yeah. Because there's people who they don't what they're starting to realize that they start these Facebook groups.
Yeah.
And they haven't even figured out yet that Facebook even tells you in their public information that when you make a post, only like 3.5% of the people are going to see your post.
Yeah.
People in their walnut brains think they make a post and they have 5,000 followers, that 5,000 people see their post. No, and not unless you boost your post.
Yeah.
So when you put all your time and money on someone else's platform, you're at the mercy of their platform. Whereas if you host your own website, you control it. And then what's also great is, you know, you can do it with no ads. And so you just want a deal where if you make a post, everybody will see it. But I fully expect people to start all kinds of their little splinter groups because people are very tribal in nature.
Yeah.
Like if you're a pediatric dentist, maybe you just interested in homing with other pediatric dentists. You have no desire to listen to oral surgeons and general dentists and Medicare and you just want to be. So when I go around the world, like dentists will tell me from Cambodia and Malaysia and all those countries that they love Dentaltown, but it's America, and people don't get it. That it's just so different in Cambodia or Vietnam. Or, so they've been asking me for years to make a Dentaltown for their country. It's like, well, I don't want to started Dental Town for Cambodia. I'm not Cambodian.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell am I going to do that? But so what I'm doing is I made the technical software hosting deal.
Yeah.
And I've had 5 programmers working on this all year. They're all making all these automative. I don't know what it's called, but so.
But how do you give, let's say, Dental Town in, let's just say Cambodia? How do you give it that Farran splash of spice?
Well, if you're the Howard Farran of Cambodia, I mean, I'm sure that Cambodia's got one short, fat, bald dentist. I mean, they can't be all tall, dark, and handsome in Cambodia.
Oh, well, yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna do that because, it's so funny because dentists tell me all the time, yeah, I'm on a Facebook group. There's 17,000 people, and I put this case. Okay, so when you post that case on a group of 17,000 people, how many people do you think saw it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you talk to the owner of Facebook, he would tell you 3% max.
Really?
Unless you give him money.
Yeah.
And they're publicly traded.
Yeah.
And that's my investment advice for social media. Like, if you give Facebook a lot of money, buy Facebook stock. Have you ever given Twitter $1? No. That's why I wouldn't buy their stock. Twitter's IPO price of their stock to now, I mean, it came out of the market like 40 and immediately fell in half. Have you ever given Snapchat money? No. So why would you buy their stock? You know, if you don't, Warren Buffett said all the time, Beat the Street by, who wrote, Peter Lynch. You know, it's like people would ask Peter Lynch, like, I remember when the big chain was rolling out Boston Market, they were saying, what do you think of Boston Market stops? Peter Lynch said, well, first I want to know what you think of Boston Market. Do you eat there? Does your wife eat there? When you go in there in your neighborhood where you live, is it busy? Are people saying, I love this food? Don't talk to a Wall Street broker. The guy who made the most money in Wall Street lives in Omaha, Nebraska, and he doesn't give a rat's rear what a stockbroker thinks. So when In-N-Out Burger or Boston Market or
Booyah Burgers.
Yeah. I mean, I still think to this day Texas has the best ice cream on earth.
Yeah.
And who's that?
Well,
Bluebell.
Well, even after that disaster of tainted whatever, they recovered just fine.
Yeah, and so did Chipotle and all that stuff, and it's always going to happen because, for all you know, I mean, you can't have foolproof. Like they'll throw $1 billion of lettuce away because of bacteria.
Yeah.
And then I go talk to the farmers. You know what the farmers say? How can we bacteria? We have javelinas and deer walking through our farm fields pooping.
Yeah.
And then what would happen if they start shooting all the deer and javelinas? You know, I mean, so it's always going to happen. But man, I can't believe how long we went. We went an hour and a half. We went almost 2 hours. But it's acerocrowns.com. His email, chad.park.com. Help a homie out. Give it a try. I mean, it's business. So give it a try. If they're better, here's my 5-finger rule. Is it faster? Is it easier? Is it higher quality? Is it lower in price? And does it get miniature over time? So you look at when they first invented the steam engine, it was so big, it could only suck water out of flooded coal mines in England. But as time goes by, they get faster, easier, higher quality, lower cost, and smaller. So when it got small enough, eventually it fit on a boat, and you started the whole steamship business and the canal building. And then it got smaller and smaller and finally was on a train. So if it's faster, it's easier, it's higher quality, it's lower cost, and miniature plane here from the big tray setup where you knock it over and 100 crowns fall on the floor. And by the way, and then when you look at the price of those crowns, do you know how many times in 30 years I've tried on 3 different sizes before I went with the final crown? So I mean, hell, I routinely, the first one doesn't fit, and then I got to change sizes or whatever. But I think you and your wife should be the poster child for tear down the Department of Immigration and open back up Ellis Island. Thank you so much for voting with your feet, your family coming to this country, and for all you've done. I think you're the all-American family, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Enjoyed it.
Finally, your last appointment of the week. Check the schedule, really? A double pulp crown Friday at 4 p.m.? Does your staff hate you? You're so great with kids, they said. You should be a pediatric dentist, they said. Oh, why did I listen to them? And look at Princess here. I'm sure she's going to be a joy. Oh no, blue sucker. Well, I'm sure at least Mommy is a calm, rational human.
Are you okay? Is this Batman trying to hurt you? Do you need your sippy cup? Are your peanut allergies acting up again? Do you have peanut dust on your hands?
No. But what are you worrying about? You've got a brand new assistant. I'm sure she'll be super helpful here.
Yes, I need like the next 4 months off. Destin and I are like starting a travelogram, so...
What? You've got that golden window. Maybe 10 minutes to get this double pulp and crown down before Princess has a class 3 meltdown. Or this overprotective mom throws her through a window. Pulps are done, teeth are prepped. Let's seat some crowns. You ask your assistant for an L3 and a K4. Pretty easy request, right? But with this crown tray layout, you may as well be speaking to her in Russian. Sorry, but Mackenzie has no chance of finding the crowns you actually need. Princess is about 10 seconds from going nuclear, and Helicopter Mom is, well, yeah. And your golden window is closing. You go to grab the crowns from the tray since Selfie Girl doesn't speak Russian when suddenly... Oh, no! I should have gone with the Acero. Acero crowns were designed and developed by dentists for dentists. With a user-friendly tray layout and simplified universal numbering system, Acero crowns actually correspond to the tooth number. So even that brand new dental assistant you hired on Tuesday will have no problem getting you what you need. And not only are Acero crowns so much easier to use, they're almost half the price of the other leading brands. Acero crowns also come in white with lifelike translucency, so Princess can keep that beautiful smile for all her photos.
Thanks so much for coming in. You've got a beautiful set of teeth in there. I think we're done. Thanks for coming in. Lay off the Diet Coke. Say hi to your husband.
Are you okay?
So, go to acerocrowns.com today and see the difference for yourself.